Hey, Jeff Carlisa here from 38 Special, and we're rocking it up right here with Traders Nation.
Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. My pleasure to have with us here today co-author Peter Fader, the Customer Centricity Playbook, implement a winning strategy driven by customer lifetime value. Peter, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Great to talk to you, Kurt. Looking forward to it.
Nice, nice. So what brought you to write the Customer Centricity Playbook, Peter?
I'll tell you what, it was a lot of frustration that as a professor here at the Wharton School, been developing all kinds of models and associated managerial frameworks to help companies better understand their customers, make more money in the process. And a lot of companies out there are just not thinking about things this way, too focused on the product instead of the customer. So trying to put an alternative perspective out there.
Nice, nice. So basically, this certainly is focused around the customer service, customer loyalty, right? And trying to get that customer to come back in, right?
That's right, but the difference is it's a question of which customers, and not all customers are created equal. They're not all born to have great relationships with you, and so it's kind of your responsibility as a business, not just a retailer. I'm talking B2B, any kind of business at all, to understand who the right customers are, the ones with high lifetime value, and build your business around them instead of just trying to kind of cast a broad net and sell to anyone who's willing to buy.
Yeah, great point, because there are different levels of customers, aren't there? I mean, there's customers, reasonable, loyal, that make up a lot of ideal values as when it comes to customers, versus others are, professional consumers, maybe not so loyal. They just as soon go across the street if they're going to save 2 cents. I mean, how do we break these down, Peter?
That is the challenge, and that's also the opportunity. In the old days, it was impossible to tell the difference. There was no way to tag and track customers. The best we could do would be to use demographics. But today, through all the different kinds of technologies we have, whether it's mobile apps or loyalty programs or lots of other mechanisms, we can tell who's buying what when. And we can project how much they're likely to spend with us in the future and say, you know what, we got these really good customers over here. How do we really build on that relationship and find more like them? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, so like years ago, very difficult to gauge a customer because that was like static, wasn't it? It was like 1.0. Now, like you said, we're getting into apps. More data is becoming available to us as business owners. We can really get into the fineness of what makes customers move, what makes them buy, what makes them not buy. So technology has really brought this information to business owners in the forefront, hasn't it?
It has, but the problem is, a lot of business owners are saying, okay, let's use all that data, let's use all that technology just to sell more products. And I'm saying that's the wrong way to look at it. We should be using the data and the technology to figure out who are the right customers, and then use that to determine what are the kinds of products that we should be selling. I want to flip it around completely. And, it's early, but we're finding a lot of really good success.
Well, I want to touch on this because it's said that it costs a business 8 times more money to get a new client than it is to keep one, right? So, we need that information on our customer loyalty and on what makes them come back, don't we?
But you know what? And I hate that expression, because even though it's true, even though there's no doubt it does cost more to acquire than to retain, that's the wrong way to look at business. You shouldn't be running your business on the basis of minimizing costs. You should be running your business on the basis of maximizing value. So it's true that you have these customers around here. It's real easy to hold on to them. But if they're not that valuable, then maybe you're better off going fishing and spending that money and going out there to find customers. It might be expensive to get them, but they might be 10 times more valuable once you've acquired them.
That's exactly
right. So let's not just run it on the basis of minimizing cost.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and I think that's an absolute valid point, because for long term, for any businesses, that valuable customer, that you can get back in, is actually exactly where these businesses need to be. All right, so what critical tools, because there's a lot of data out there, Peter, what critical tools should these business owners be using to bring this data in, extrapolate it, and figure out where they need to be when it comes to their clients and customers?
Top of the list is this notion of customer lifetime value. that we can look at your past purchasing history. You know, what have you bought from us? How often? How much did you spend? And we can project ahead to say how many transactions are you going to make, how long are you going to stay with us, and how much are you going to spend moving ahead, and to kind of add all that up and say this is the projected value that you're going to bring to the firm in the future, as opposed to what you've brought to us in the past.
Yeah.
Customer lifetime value is the key to the whole thing.
Yeah, but as far as the tools are concerned, and I think that's great, but some of these business owners, they're not savvy in this area. You know, they may not be savvy. They're not data crunchers, okay?
So that's my job. My job is to not only come up with the methods as a professor, but then to kind of get them out there. So, for instance, I founded a company called Zodiac that was working with a number of different companies, B2B, B2C, product, services, large and small, to give them that lifetime value magic wand, to basically say, here is the value of your customers, and then here's different ways to leverage it. And then a few months ago, we sold the company to Nike. It was a really great validation of our ability to do these kinds of calculations and to get companies to actually pay attention and use them.
Right, because business owners don't have a lot of time to try to figure out that data. And are you saying that Zodiac would be a great way for these companies, small business owners, to go leverage that technology to further their customer client experience?
That was the objective. For me, it was about spreading the gospel. As I said, Nike bought the company, so now that one's out of commission now. But I continue to try to put these methods out there, whether it's putting out spreadsheets and videos and code, as well as different case studies, because if you could believe in the CLV, the customer lifetime value magic wand, it really will get you to run your business differently, to really think about who the right customers are as opposed to what is the right product.
Right. And what do you see? We're past 2018, certainly into 2019, but what do you see going forward is most critical for businesses? Certainly the customer retention is part of that. You're saying, you know, products are fine, but customer retention is better, knowing your customer. Do you see that going forward here in 2019 and remaining on top of the list for businesses to stay focused on? Is that client experience?
Yes, indeed. And I'm even going to the next step. So the really cool thing that I'm working on these days is the idea of customer-based corporate valuation. That if we can figure out the value of each one of our customers and add all that stuff up, that's going to give us a better idea of the overall value of the enterprise rather than the usual kinds of top-down practices that companies will be looking at. So customer-based corporate valuation, and it's been an amazing way to not only improve our understanding of the value of the business, but to build a better connection between the folks in finance and the folks in marketing.
Well, listen, if we could just gather those types of clients up in a net and put them aside. The ideal thing here is to try to figure out how can we garner more of those types of clients. Where did we get them, and how can we garner more? Would you agree with that?
That is it, and that's exactly what the new book is all about, the Consumer Centricity Playbook. This idea that sometimes we want to kind of fish for customers very broadly. We just want to bring a bunch of people in. The business is so young, and we haven't figured out who the right ones are. Right. But at some point, we want to start getting a little bit more fine about it. We want to start fishing with spears instead of nets. We know who the right customers are. We're willing to kind of extend ourselves if we can get those kinds of customers. Figuring out that balance about how to engage in those different kinds of activities and you know how much money to allocate to one versus another. That's the new way to build a business, as opposed to just obsessing over version 3.0 of the product.
That's right. All right, we're out of time here today. Where can we get a copy of the Customer Centricity Playbook today, Peter?
Well, Amazon.com is a good place to start, and I hope that people will take a look.
Awesome. Head on over to Amazon.com. Even your local bookstore, folks. Okay, the guy in the corner needs your business too. The Customer Centricity Playbook. Peter Fader, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Good talking to you.
You bet. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.